So this is our accent analysis for today. This is our boy Volodymyr Zelensky, right? Leader of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini. And we're going to just come in here. There's no specific target or goal, but I just want to do a quick little review on some things that I pick up that make him sound either less clear or are distracting, right? Because that's one thing about accents, right? I don't think that anybody has to learn how to change their accent or has to speak with an American accent. But the reason why people do is because they want their communication to be more effective. So sometimes if your accent is strong or right it's causing you to pronounce something in a way that's really different, it can be distracting from your message. Right? It can take away the value of what you're saying from the listener, and they start to focus on what you're saying instead of how you're saying it. So, I think that that's probably what we're going to see mostly with him. So, without further ado, let's jump into the live reaction to the Volodymyr Zelensky. And this is recent, it's 2 months ago. So, let's check it out.
Recently, that the Russians is this a signal that you pretend that
opinion? I know that my colleagues from the United States.
All right, right here, no contrast. I know that my colleagues, right? Everything is the same length. Everything has just a little bit of pitch, right? Everything, is just so similar. Listen again. I know that my colleagues.
I'm sharing just my opinion. I know that my colleagues from.
I know that my colleagues, or I know that. You hear the difference? I know that, right? I is a function word. Know is a content word. That is a function word. I know that my colleagues, leagues, right? So we had no and we had ka as the two important syllables that stood out. I know that my colleagues, instead of I know that my colleagues, I know that my colleagues, right? So just by knowing which is a content word, which is a function word, you can start to deliver the sounds in a way that's way more familiar to an American listener.
He played this game that he wants negotiation, and I still
Okay. Listen to this word, negotiation. I've noticed him say this before.
still sure.
Sorry, back it up. Listen how he says negotiation. There is it all comes out as unstressed. Listen to this.
He wants negotiation.
Negotiation. So if you've seen my lesson on rhythmic contrast, you know there's 4 ingredients, and I think maybe he has 2 out of 4, right? Maybe he's got a little bit more volume and just a little bit of pitch. And maybe he's got some length too.
He played this game that he wants negotiation.
Negotiation. What's really missing is the openness, the projection, right? He's like negotiation. That stressed vowel sound it's always muffled. We want it to be clear. So instead of negotiation, I would say negotiate. Look at this. Negotiation. Look how bright and big I make that. He says negotiation. I say negotiation. Negotiation. Right? That's not an exaggeration at all. That's how my natural pronunciation is, because we want to highlight those stressed vowel sounds.
Gives him more money, and
all right, here's an example of placement. So this vowel, this is in butter vowel. All right, I've got a full lesson on that here, but this is one that you could really hear placement on. So if you listen in the word money, he's giving equal amount of attention to the M and to the So the vowel and consonant are equally weighted, and it just creates a sound that comes from the mouth that, yeah, in the context we understand, but it does not sound clear or natural. Let's check it out.
more money.
Money, money, right? The way I say this is listen to the vowel, money, like that.
And lateral meeting, we always support.
All right, so this would be an opportunity for a flap T, and this is one that you guys could probably start doing right away. right? We talked about flap T when it's not in the beginning of a stressed syllable, when it's not important and it's surrounded by vowel sounds. We don't stop the vibration. We just continue the vibration. That's why it turns into a D sound.
Lateral meeting. We all
He's just meeting, right? So he starts down here, meeting. But we'll just say meeting, right? Again, I've been saying the whole lesson, the whole live, the most important thing is the vibration for us. Meeting or meeting.
Trump still has some anger or resentment toward
to the facts. So
That was an example of not highlighting the vowel sound with vibration. Like all I heard was an F. I heard fox, right? Instead of facts. Hear the vibration there? That's what's missing.
to the facts.
To the facts. Instead of to the facts. He could probably get a little bit more openness as well if he wants to perfect the vowel. But if he just created more musicality and resonance and leaned off of the F sound, it would hit my ears in a way that sounds clearer.
We are thankful to America.
Thankful to, right? Thankful to. Dot dot dot. Thankful to instead of thankful to. You hear the difference in the pitch, the contrast? He made it sound the same. Thankful to, right? And he got rid of the vibration there. You notice? Thankful to, to. I'm going to keep my vibration down here. I'm going to make the unimportant parts really short. And I'm just going to drive up and down for that stressed vowel sound. Listen. Thankful to. Thankful to. Listen, you hear the vibration the whole time. Thankful to.
Had more missiles for Petrus.
Missiles. You hear this? Actually, I've heard this a lot. I have many Ukrainian students, and I've heard. And unfortunately, the situation they're in, this is a word that I've heard them pronounce many times, and this is very common here when they say missiles,
More missiles.
missiles. But this is from the last live lesson. This is a syllabic consonant. It's an unstressed syllable that has an L at the end, so the vowel disappears. So we don't say sows, we say suls, suls, missiles, like that.
For Petrus than we. So more than we had during all the months.
All right, listen to this. Listen to the pronoun here.
More than we had.
More than we had. We had. You see, we just talked about how those pronouns are not content words unless you're really emphasizing it. But here, I mean, I'm not feeling that from him. Like it's not like more than we had, right? He's just saying like more than we had instead of more than we had. More than we had. We where we is small and out of the way.
More than we had during all the months. But when
Right, so we had is the same, but we want it to be more than we had, like that. What's up, guys? Drop a like in the chat. Give me some love in the algorithm. Let me know if you like the analysis.
weapons from the West, but to America because Ukraine is to be able to afford to continue.
See, this guy's not a native speaker either. I mean, he's pretty good, but he's not a native speaker. I mean, listen to the way his voice is in his mouth.
Will you be able to afford to continue?
He said, "Be able to afford to continue. Be able to afford to continue." This right, where he's pushing all the energy off from the mouth, all the energy, right, is dedicated to consonant sounds. Where he's saying, "Will you be able to afford to continue?" Or I would say with vibration, focusing on the vowels, will you be able to afford to continue? Will you be able to afford to continue? Right? And so much more contrast. And again, carrying the listener through with the vibration and melody in my body. All right, couple more. We're almost to the end of this.
Saudi, and we spoke also with Qatar and Jordan.
Jordan. Right? I don't know how they say it there. I've never been to the Middle East, but right, we have that word too, right? One of our most famous Americans is Michael Jordan. And again, it's the unstressed syllable with the N at the end, so there's no vowel. We just say din, right? He said Jordan. We say Jordan, din. Because that vibration of the from the end sound just wipes out the unstressed vowel. All right, let's find one more.
We, with Americans, we are partners. We are ready to help.
Okay, you hear this? It's just the same. It's all fast, and it all sounds like it's like semi-stressed.
Ready to help Americans, and we are ready.
Let me back it up. Hold on.
or we with Americans, we are partners. We are ready to help.
Americans, we are partners. We are partners. Americans, we are partners. There's a little bit of pitch, but it's not as obvious to the point where, it's familiar for our American ears. Americans, we are partners, or Americans, we are partners. Americans, we're partners, right? He said, we are partners, or we're partners. We're partners. So that's it, guys. Those were some things that I would say if, he was to make those adjustments, it would be much more comfortable for a native speaker to follow what he's saying and digest the value of his message instead of paying attention to how he's pronouncing the words.